Alright, so the last story we're going to talk about, this one really pisses me off, is the little girl who died, well, basically murdered at our border. Everyone tends to think she's like Mexican, but she's not. She's from an indigenous community in Guatemala. And she was under U.S. border custody, and they didn't give her water. They did not give her any sustenance. She died of dehydration. So I'm going to show you a picture of her real quick, because I don't know if you guys know what she looks like. This is Jakelin, Amei, Rosmery, Maqui. She's a 7-year-old Guatemalan child that died in border control yesterday. Border control custody. So, over here, I have, here's another NBC. And though the government has argued that Jakelin's father was asked to sign forms attesting to their health, the forms are presented in English or Spanish. Jakelin's father speaks, I can't pronounce that, Quechua, I am so sorry, an indigenous language of the region. We need to remember that the wave of people coming into the United States are not just Mexican. They are indigenous communities from South America that the United States, has caused just total bullshit in. We have gone in there and we've backed the violence that's happening in their communities. And now they're fleeing their communities to try to find somewhere better. A lot of them, they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have internet, they don't have any way of truly understanding of how shit the United States actually is. We just talked about income inequality with the dollar stores. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the rich, like the 1%, is forecasted to own 2/3 of the world's wealth by 2030. Just FYI. Hand in hand with the disappeared middle class. But they have no way of knowing that the United States is what's backing the violence down there. The United States, we've always been like the American dream. Well, it's since been PR and marketed to be something truly awful. It's no longer the American dream. But a lot of people who are fleeing U.S.-backed violence, they just want to go somewhere safe. We have the Statue of Liberty still, and the Statue of Liberty means a lot to a lot of people outside the country. I don't think our Statue of Liberty should be up anymore. I think we should have, like, I don't know, a curtain over her or something. Because what we're doing, a lot of these people are seeking asylum. They're like, these people are crossing over illegally. No, they're trying to get asylum. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of the newest congressional reps, pointed out that instead of sending troops, we could have started sending out people to get these immigrants applied for asylum. We could have used our resources for that instead of, tear gassing them, instead of tear gassing children. So that's something I wanted to talk about because it's another thing that's underreported. The blatant dehumanization of this child who was not given water and was not given food would not have happened if she was white. Like, it just wouldn't have. Yes, I'm tearing up, sorry. But it wouldn't have. So here we are. Now, talking about indigenous people real quick. The last video I did talking about the indigenous win in the US, there were a lot of people who had questions about missing Indigenous women and man camps. So I want to take a moment to further elaborate on that. So what are man camps? I'll go back to that. If there is a pipeline being built, if there is oil being pulled out of the earth, if there is, anything of that sort, construction-y type thing happening near a reservation or in a reservations, because we all know the United States does not respect their treaties to Indigenous people. Construction workers camp out in that area in these things called man camps, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's camps full of men. And they go into the reservations and they steal Indigenous women. They steal Indigenous children, Indigenous girls, usually teenagers. And a lot of them go missing all the time. There are so many Indigenous women missing. It's like one of those silent emergencies Jordan talks about. It's awful. And no one talks about it. It's not enough that these reservations don't have clean water, but a lot of times they can't prosecute the rapist or, the injustice to the full of their ability, because the reservation, they have like their own sheriff stuff, right? They have their own thing that they do, but they're only allowed to prosecute up to a certain level. And then the United States government can't really get in because of the county and the reservation. So that's basically it's not enough to say, don't mine on our land, don't do this with our land. It's stuff like this that happens to women. They die, they raped, they get killed, they go missing all the time, way too often.